Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on driving financial insight and efficiency, AI assisting finance. Dan, did Copilot write that title?
No, it did not. No, definitely didn't.
My name's Stephen MacDonald. I'm a business development manager here at Mhance, and I'm going to be hosting and moderating this presentation today. Daniel Booth is our lead pre-sales engagement consultant, and he'll be leading the actual main presentation. So before I hand over, we'll just go through a few housekeeping items and then go over the agenda before handing over. So you might notice already that on your settings that you've been put on mute, but we do want questions. So there is a Q&A symbol at the top of the screen. So during the webinar at any point, if you can pop your questions in there, and we'll try to get to them in due course, hopefully throughout the session, and if not, we'll answer them afterwards. It is being recorded and it will be available to view on demand. We'll provide a recording after the session to you. And like I mentioned, it'll be on listen only. So for the whole session, there will be no cameras on, and we'll just, like I say, give those questions in and we'll try and go through them as we can. So what we're going to go over, just a quick reminder about our end-to-end capabilities here at Mhance. We'll introduce Copilot, Microsoft's AI capability tool. We'll talk about the common concerns, reasons to embrace Copilot and AI, what it can do for an actual finance team, some examples to put in use, and then we'll wrap it up at the end. Okay. So I know there's a few of you who might not be familiar to Mhance and others who are familiar to us, but you might not know the whole capabilities of what we can offer. So from a journey, if you like, for a client of ours, an organization can manage their customers, clients, donors, members, their events, and our Dynamics 365 and Power Platform team can help with the platform there from a CRM perspective, case management, or portals if needs be as well. And so we've got a great team there from a non-profit's perspective with a common data model that we've created. That then flows and can integrate directly into our financial tool, which we're mainly focusing on today, which is Business Central. So Dynamics 365 Business Central, we have done a lot of work on here to make sure it works for charities as well as end-to-end clients of ours who are in distribution or construction or other commercial avenues like that. So we've got different apps like partial VAT, EFT modules, and we've got surrounding third parties to help with that application as well. That flows then into once you've got the business process in place, you've then got the data, and what can you do with that data? So we've got a whole team to help with reporting, creating data warehouses, whether that's not just only from those solutions, but other applications that you might be holding and other bits of data that you've got, all the way through to cloud hosting solutions within Azure, helping with your licenses. So we're a full cloud service provider from Microsoft, so we can help make sure you're getting the most out of your Microsoft licenses, through to Copilot and AI, which we're going to obviously talk about today. I think that's the whole wrap up of everything about us and what we're going to go through. So with that, I'll hand over to yourself, Daniel, and I'll stop sharing.
Perfect. Hopefully you can all see my screen. So this session today, and good morning everyone, first of all. I know I've spoken to a few people who were registered before, but welcome to those who haven't spoken to me before and haven't seen Copilot, Microsoft Copilot in Business Central and the wider Microsoft stack as well. Before we get into the actual product demonstration and to go through some user cases itself, what I want to do is just talk about what is Copilot. And I think this slide really does show it really well. It's an assistant. It works with all your Dynamics 365 products, Word, Excel, Teams, Outlook, which we will go through shortly, and we will show, hopefully within the sort of 40 minutes I've got, we will show as much as possible, just little bits of tasters on how Copilot can make processes efficient and aid in really getting you as the user the data that you need in front of you at any one time. So I think, without me reading every bit of this slide, you can see there Copilot is a UI for AI, which means it's a user interface. It works based on what you want that your Copilot to do. And it's an entry point into AI tools. I mean, we can get really, really complex on custom Copilots, coding and Copilot agents. But actually, the sort of standard things that Copilot does across the Microsoft stack, for finance teams especially, within Business Central and within the wider Office 365 product suite, can be really, really advantageous, helping with complex formulas in Excel and things like that. You ask it a question, it will go away and find that. And as it says there, it's designed to simplify work, not replace people. And that's one of the key major points that we need to stress with regards to this. And I think I stress it again towards the end of my presentation. If you continually do something wrong, it will learn to do something wrong with you. So, I mean, it does provide consistency, but it's not going to replace. This is to aid each individual user in the roles that they do, either within the product itself, within the Outlook tools, to really try and make processing and data and getting to the data as efficient as possible. But where can you use it? I mean, anybody who's seen anything from Microsoft at the moment, you will see Copilot absolutely everywhere, and that's because it actually is. So it's across all your commonly used products that Microsoft have in their stack. I'm no technical whiz, but using Copilot and Power Automate for workflows, I can ask Copilot to go and create me a workflow with this logic, and it goes and does it. You need to review it just to make sure it's picked everything up right, but it sends you 70-80% of the way there without having to start. And that's a really, really powerful thing. So whether it's Business Central, projects, Teams, all the sort of products that whether you're a finance person or whether you're an IT person, we've got a number on the registered today, Copilot can and will make a difference, because everything there, you've got Copilot on, and Copilot can really assist you with being more efficient in every one of these programs. That said, I mean, I was skeptical of AI at first on how it can help finance teams. And I will go through some of the stuff in Business Central, what it did initially, and you'll probably think, that really doesn't help me. But we do hear and we do recognise concerns over using AI and Copilot. Cost is obviously one. We can talk about many things on here, but I think one of the biggest worries is around the top one, really. The sensitive data is accessed and processed, and over monitoring. So within Copilot and the Microsoft stack, obviously it's adhering to Azure set of controls. Is it 100% safe from it? No. Is anything 100% safe from potential hacking? No, it isn't. But what it will do, and what Business Central does, it works based on your tenancy with your data, and you can control who has access to it and what it can access. So, for example, just Copilot in Business Central is accessible on your tenancy, and only people who have access to Business Central can access Copilot. It doesn't work across the wider stack. It just is Copilot for Business Central data. So it can be controlled and it can be governed. There are additional costs if you go into this sort of Copilot for Office 365, for Excel and things like that, which will show high subscription fees for premium features. Yes, it does. What I will say is that the generic Copilot that you do get as part of the plans and as part of what you can purchase, used correctly and implemented correctly and trained correctly, you'll get your payback within 3 to 6 months. But it is a case of knowing what prompts to use, knowing how to train Copilot really to be able to bring back the data and look and help in the data that you want it to look for. But there are, for all the reasons that we hear concerns, there are real reasons as to why organizations in any sector need to embrace AI and Copilot. And I'll be honest with you, Copilot wrote this slide for me. But I actually think it's really, really brilliant and really does focus and get to the points what really do make a difference. The easy learning and support, being able to use natural language in Copilot is brilliant. You don't need to have technical language. Boost productivity, automates routine tasks. One of the things I will show shortly is around Copilot in a bank reconciliation in Business Central. Automated bank matching, but also learns from what you're doing manually off a bank statement and can say, do you want to do this in the future? It will create it. Somebody will still have to review and post, but it saves you having to key in that data. And it does help for smarter decision making, and it allows you to summarize complex records and do things that will take ages to do. Part of the presentation I'm going to show will be, hopefully, and I'm saying touch wood on this because I always put it's a live demo, put myself under pressure. I want to be able to add some columns to a 7,800 line Excel spreadsheet, write a word proposal summary, put it into a PowerPoint presentation, and then email it in the form of a poem in 10 minutes. And you'll just say, obviously it's a demo, but it's just to give you an idea on what it can do. And what that could be financial information, it could be your annual statements, it could be marketing proposals, anything like that your finance teams have to deal with. It could be a report on your top 10, 15 customers, people who have been late payers. All this can be done using Copilot and getting Copilot to assist you in that data and report preparation. And that really is what this slide does. So you can read emails, you can process data from emails directly into Business Central without having to key anything in. You can ask the system to generate reports, as I mentioned, bank recs. You can ask it a question. It can pull documents out. It can analyze data. And it can actually review data accuracy and data sort of governance to offer format consistency, which for importing, for dealing, having that level of consistency across your data is really, really key. And we'll hopefully touch on most of these in the next sort of 20-25 minutes or so. Okay, that's enough of me talking. Let's see it in action. So first of all, I'm going to start with Business Central, the core finance solution, cloud-based solution with Microsoft. I think it's key to say Copilot works in a cloud-based environment. So anybody who's on on-prem systems, your Copilot doesn't work. Even Business Central on-prem doesn't have Copilot, so it is a cloud-based solution. When you're looking at Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, documents need to be saved into a cloud environment for Copilot to be able to read them. You don't need to obviously be using Excel online or anything like that, but accessing documents within Excel, accessing a Word document, for example, it has to be saved into OneDrive, SharePoint, or somewhere in the cloud. But let's see it in action. Let's go to Business Central first of all. And everything in Business Central I will state is part of your user subscription price. There's no additional cost to Copilot in Business Central other than your Business Central licenses. So let's go in and see it. Now, I do appreciate that some people won't seen Business Central before on the call. I know there's a mixture of potential new customers, some of our GP customer base, some BC customers as well. So I will be going through this to a certain level. Obviously, if you want to talk about Business Central, want to know more about Business Central afterwards, please do get in contact and we can do more personalized demos with regards to what you and your organizations want to look for. So Business Central, you'll see the icon, the Copilot icon at the top there. And if I just open it, you can really ask the question, you can ask direct questions to the system. So I can say, how many purchase orders have I raised in 2025? That will go in and search the whole database. Now, if you were doing this via a smart list on a report, you'd have to go in, you'd have to tailor it, you'd have to filter it. What this is going to do, just ask a direct question. This is going to go away, and within 5-10 seconds, whether the list is 20, 40, 200, it's going to say you've raised 26 purchase orders, and this is a few of them. Now, what you can also do with regards to that, the system doesn't just tell you, it also, if I click on the reference, it will take me to that list of purchase orders, which is already filtered by what I've asked it to be. So you've got all that detail. You can see amount received, not invoiced, anything like that. So if somebody's coming into this new, you can ask direct questions. You don't need to ask it in a certain terminology. You could ask how many customers have I invoiced, how many purchase invoices have I received, how many purchase invoices are awaiting payment. All these sort of questions you can ask directly of Copilot in the system. But it also works as a training aid as well. So you can ask, how do I raise a purchase order? So it isn't just looking at the data, it's also going through, and it's going to write a step-by-step process showing where that is, how to do it. So new people who come into the business and to your organizations, if you forget how to do something, you know, we have a number of people who do depreciation, for example, not monthly, but every quarter, and they forget how to do it sometimes. I hope there's nobody on the call who's logged that as an issue, but they can go in and say, how do I run a depreciation journal? How do I do this? How do I do that? And it will tell you the steps that you need. One of the advantages of what Enhanced do on Business Central implementations is we do not bespoke it or heavily bespoke the products. So your standard answers to these standard questions will work, and they will work in a perfect way of pointing people to the right areas. And it does tell you where to go, what to do. And again, if I really needed to look at that in more detail, I can click on the link. Really good, really quick. So it's asking a question, you'll get an answer within 10-15 seconds, and querying that database without having to go to a report, find the report, filter the report. And you can add things on. If you say, how do I raise a purchase order, then you can say, how do I, it gives you the list. You can say, show me this, what I've gone to this department, and things like that. Now, you know, that is sort of really generic Copilot. When Copilot came out at first, the first thing that was on there was, if I go to my list of items, I can go to, I don't know, my Christmas card item, which I use a bit. The first bit, and you've got summary, you can gather valuable insights into the data. You can start summarizing your movement, your trends, things like that on items, seasonality trends that can go into reporting. But the first thing that was on there was marketing text. So I can say draft with Copilot, and it will go away and come up with some marketing text on Copilot. Great, brilliant, gimmicky. Does it help a finance person as a finance process? Not really. But that was what came out at first, hence my skepticism when I saw what was coming out initially. Now, you've got options. You can keep it, regenerate it. You can change the tone, the format, the emphasis. If I wanted that to be upbeat and just regenerate, you've got all these different things you've got that you can do, and you can keep it, and it's there for future. Great for items if you wanted to do some playing around, but not really wonderful for your finance day-to-day operations. But then came, in typical Microsoft way, then came the real advances in where Copilot can really assist. And there's two areas that really are in use from our current customer base and really do make a difference. The first is on bank reconciliation. So if I use the tell me function at the top of the search and type in bank rec. Reconcile with Copilot. I can go into the bank if I wanted to. I've got my bank statement lines, my bank ledger entry lines. Now, Business Central is standard without Copilot as automated matching rules. What Reconciling with Copilot does is go through, it uses those rules, and you can see what additional things auto matched and Copilot matched. So what this is doing, this is learning off you as a user when you're doing bank reconciliation. So if I go to keep it now, and that's not reconciled anything by Copilot, but you'll notice this match proposals here. Transaction date, description, amount, and proposal. I'm just going to keep that. So if I look at my bank rec, the one transaction at the bottom, bank interest. Unless you are absolutely brilliant, and there may be some people on the call who are, as a finance function, the first you know about bank interest and the value is when it appears on your bank statement. So normally what you would have to do in a bank statement rec, you'd either have to come out, you'd then have to journal that into the system, and then you'd have to come back into your bank rec and do it that way. Through Copilot, I can choose this line and I can transfer to general journal. And what if you do this on a regular basis, and if I just go to transfer to general journal, I might have something here from a previous, no, I don't, brilliant. So that brings across name, description, document amount, the bank account number. So actually from a posting point of view, all I have to do is go and say where that needs to be in the GL, and I can post that. I don't need to do anything else. Post it, done. Go back into the bank reconciliation, that will be matched. If I do that 4 or 5 times, it will recognize, and reconciling with Copilot each time learns on what you're doing. It will begin to think, actually, when I see bank interest in that description field that is unreconciled, every single time that person has then done a journal to put that to bank charges. So in that match proposal field, it will say proposal transfer to general journal. Learning from you. Now, the one thing to say at present, and this will change in the next sort of 12, 18 months, that's based, Copilot is based on an individual doing it. If you have different people doing the bank recs on different days, that's going to take longer for it to learn what to do because it's based on an individual. Coming 18, 24 months down the line are more Business Central company Copilots where you can access what other people are doing, and if somebody does that, it'll propose it quicker. But at present, that is going to suggest to do that when you reconcile with Copilot. Now, I have to stress what I stressed before. If you put that to the wrong code continually, that's going to suggest you put it to the wrong code and continue, which, you know, auditors talk about consistency, which it'll mean it's consistent, but it'll mean it's consistently wrong. So that's where Copilot, it's only learning off you as an individual of what you were doing across the forms that you're in. But that can be really, really good, because what that will do when the customers are on the payments that you get in that sometimes don't match perfectly, you see certain references, it goes to certain things, it will propose what it thinks should happen based on your history and what you've done. So, you know, you've still got to approve it, you've still got to say yes, but it's trying to make that manual thing of something, manual entry of something that should be as automated as possible, more efficient, which is a good thing. And that's what came out at first. I thought, right, okay, yeah, this is moving in the right direction now. And then we started seeing a lot more things, and one of the most commonly used areas of what we can do in the system is around reporting and using analysis views and Copilot for reporting. So I can come into my general ledger entries report, and this is a full list of every single GL entry since we started on Business Central. So if I on this environment, so 1st of Jan 2020. Brilliant. Now, if I go into the Copilot icon and analyze list, I'm going to say, show me all spend to GL account 313 or GL number. I've just got to get the prompts right, and this is where the training comes in. Summarized by posting date, year, with columns for fund type. Now, I'm going to say fund type, that's a dimension. That could be department, it could be anything that you slice and dice your chart of accounts by, really. It could be department, product, anything. That's going to go away, and it's going to prepare that for me. Now, this is Copilot. This is typical what we need to be wary of the prompts for. I used that exact wording last night, and I got the years at the side and the dimensions at the top, like I asked for. Today, I'm getting fund type at the side and the years at the top. Not a massive issue, because this is technically created me a pivot table. So I could put posting year at the top, like I'm using a pivot table at the right hand side, and fund type there very, very quickly. But now I can say add in document number and description. And it will go through, and that will add that in. Now, again, I need to think about this because it's moved, but I've got fund type, document number, description. So I can drill down, I can see the document number, I can see the description, accruals, things like that. You can see the reversing out. I can add in the months, I can add in whatever I want, really. But that very quickly, without me having to download that information, get it into a pivot table, sort it, add in the columns, it's allowing me to do this. Now, again, because it's just facilitating it, as I did before, I can easily throw down posting dates, years. If I didn't want it by fund type and I wanted department code as a header, I can bring down that. And now I've got my recruitment spend to code 313 or by department as well. And again, I can drill down. I can add in any detail that is across. So I can add in document type. And you're just using it as a pivot table within the system really quickly. So now if I just drill down, I've got document type there. That has stopped me having to export that to Excel, build a pivot table, do what I need in the system. And with every single report, I can open it in Excel if I wanted to. I can arrange in different formats. I can move things left and right. I can say it, and it saves. I can rename it. You save these things and they are there to use going forward. You know, again, it's all around just being quick, simple. The reporting bits through these analysis views via Copilot are excellent. You know, what we can also do, there are, for the organizations that use sales orders, we have sales order agent. Now, what I will say with regards to sales order agent, this actually updated on my system last night at about 10 to 10. So I didn't have time to configure it this morning, but Copilot, you get emails into an inbox. Copilot will see and read the content of the email, and it will start a conversation to say if you've got that item in stock. It will send an email back, lead times. They can come back and say, yes, that's fine, I want to place the order. It will generate and automate that process where people are just reviewing the information. And that is the sales order agent. That is a real benefit to organizations who have sales orders coming in and want to increase the communication with the customer. And this is where this starts now. And again, all part of your Business Central subscription, nothing else with regards to this, or there's no hidden costs with regards to it, all in your subscription. And even as part of this, you also get a Business Central add-in into Outlook if you're an Outlook user as well, which is how the sales order agent works. It can go into an order intake Outlook inbox, it will look at that and it will start processing, and you've got the ability to sort of keep track of it and manage the communications without having to do the communications yourself. But that also works on a even more basic basis with regards to how Business Central Copilot works with the products that it sort of integrates with seamlessly, and one of those is Outlook. So from my own personal email address, I've had an email through saying, can I please order the following against my account, 500 Christmas cards. I do not need to be in Business Central now. In fact, I'm going to come out to Business Central. With the Business Central add-in, which needs to be enabled in Outlook, but again, I go back to it, this is standard functionality as part of a Business Central license. If you want the user to have this, I click on Contact Insights. Business Central opens up in a little window here, and it searches for this email address against a contact in the system. So from here, I can see quotes, ongoing sales invoices, all the history of the account. I can see any dimensions that are defaulted. I can see links. I can see notes. All really good stuff. What I can also do from here is click on the three dots and create a sales order or a sales quote. I'm going to create a sales order. The system will read the content of the email to see if it matches against anything. So as you can see here, it's recognized the quantity. It's recognized that there is an item for that. And if I click add and OK, without me having to key that information on, I have the item, and you don't need to, I promise you don't need to have eyes like a hawk and be able to scan through. But all the fields, the price that is in the price list, the values, everything that I need is there. I've not had to key that in at all. 101 or 46. Now, if I just close that, and I am going to go back into Business Central very quickly, just to show how all this is seamlessly integrated. I'll come out of email now. If I go to my open sales orders, 101 or 46 is there. The quantity, the value, any analysis dimensions, it's taken anything that's either on the customer for defaults, it's taken the planned delivery date, that means ASAP. It will read all this information and put it into the system for you without anybody having to key that in, which is an extremely powerful tool to be able to use. Again, though, it's all based on setup, configuration, and making sure that the prompts and the data is correct in the system. Again, efficiency, trying to stop Copilot, trying to stop you having information on one system and then having to rekey it in another system. And every bit of that, and there's so much more. We can do Copilot on cash forecasting, reporting across the whole general ledger, customer ledger. You can create graphs from it. All that is absolutely part of your standard Business Central license, okay, for your users, and you can control who gets users to what. But then we've got Excel and Word and other Outlook programs, and I'm just going to close everything with regards to this. So we're now going to move on to what else it can do. So in Excel, I've just quickly put a list. It could be a list of customers, could be a list. This list here is active supporters from a CRM system. In Copilot, I've got my cleanup data suggestions now. It's demo data, so you know it's going to not be great. That's given me 353 suggestions to clean up my data. And it says about data consistency. It's got people's names, Tim, Timothy, Tori, you know, all that is all there as standard. But one of the best things about Copilot in Excel, other than being able to cleanse your data, is being able to analyze your data and do stuff a hell of a lot quicker than what you will be able to do normally. So I'm going to go into Copilot in Excel. And I'm going to ask the system, I've got a number of pieces of information here, but based on address field, address 1, column, add a column to show the nearest city. In fact, no, what I'll say is add a column to show which customers are in. No, I'll put the city to show nearest city. And I'm going to click here. Now, what that's going to do, this is 7,800 lines long, this spreadsheet. And it says we've found a problem validating your Copilot license, which is great, isn't it? Let me just come out of that and I'll open it back up again. Apologies for this. This is a live demo. You know, may be able to see some of my desktop. Let me just go through. To open that back up. And I will go to Copilot and hope that I don't get that error message again, because I wasn't getting it this morning first thing and I wasn't getting it last night. So let's try again. Based on address, one column, add a column to show the nearest major city. And that now he's going through. It's going to understand the data. It's going to find the address one column. It's generating a formula suggestion for that. Now, you know, I'm going to talk through this because this might take maybe 5-10 seconds to do, if not a little bit longer. I probably should have condensed that number of users on there, but as you can see, 7,595 users. That's now going to generate a formula for that and add a column in to this system to show what the nearest major city is, because that isn't, you know, obviously close in some cases. If it doesn't work, I did do this last night, so I will just, yeah, okay. Let me go to the version history and I will put in what was on the version I did last night and I'll restore that. And I did it based on county last night and I'll restore that version. Okay. A second. So as you can see with that prompt, that's given me a really, really complex formula that if you did know that formula, you are in Excel. I wouldn't call you advanced Excel, I'd call you an Excel guru. But that now has created this county formula in here. It's gone through, it's created it, and it's put the county in. So what I can do then from this is think, okay, I've got the nearest county. Maybe I was doing some sort of proposal based on supporters who were in Greater Manchester, Derbyshire or London, somewhere. Now, what I can do is say, right, I'm going to close that. And I'm going to go into Word. And Word has Copilot as well. So I could say in Word using, and you can reference files. Using that file, generate a proposal for supporter engagement for anyone based in Greater Manchester using a Manchester-based theme. And I'm going to hope that works compared to this, compared to what I've said before. And so what this is going to do now is going to go and create a Word-based proposal, all being well, touch wood, unless somebody's playing around with my Copilot license in the background. Now, what this is going to do, this will take maybe a couple of minutes to generate. It's searching all the information that's in that file. It's searching all the information it can find in Edge around Manchester, and it's going to come with an overall proposal, hopefully in a second. I did save this as well last night if I needed to pull it. And as you can see there, it's giving you an update. But for you doing this, if you were doing this from scratch, this will take a while. It probably will take you, a day to pull all that together, everything else going on. This is now going to put into this Word document. This may take extra time. It isn't a quick document. There's a number of lines on there, and it will bring it in to, as you can see now, this is beginning to pull it through. It gives an overview of Manchester. It gives key people who are based in Manchester City Centre and areas around Manchester. Manchester based on what you've got, setups, engagements, all this here, and it's building it through. Monitoring, next steps, engagement, brilliant. That's, yes, you have to review it. But if I keep that, and now I can say, right, okay, I'm going to save that. I'll save it to my desktop. Probably shouldn't. If my IT director's on the call, I apologise. And I'll call it Made in Manchester. So, again, please, I should be promoting best practice. Don't save things to your desktop. Save it to a more regular place. But yeah, for purposes of demo, I will save it to my desktop so it's not going into anywhere. But as you can see, a proposal, 2 or 3 pages based on everything that you can see, all the information, all the sort of B terminology around Manchester, heritage, local partnerships, brilliant. So now I can save that, and it's there. Now, what if I need to put that into a PowerPoint presentation? So I'm going to create a new presentation, and I'm going to create it with Copilot. It's going to say, what do I want to do? And it says, create a presentation about, and if I search for that file, Made in Manchester, focusing on the Manchester thing. Now, again, this could be customer information, supplier information, if you wanted supplier analysis. It could be based on any piece of information that you've got into an Excel format. The page, because I need to create a new one. Sorry, give me a second. Because I've had this open a while, let me just open a new PowerPoint. We'll go into here. I'll do exactly what I just did then. Made in Manchester, focusing on the Manchester theme. So what that's going to do, it's going to go through that detail. It's going to create header slides. It's going to create all the information that I've got there, pulling the topics together. And it'll now say, do I want to generate slides? And you can determine, this can be built into your theme. You can see the design suggestions at the right-hand side if you have your own organizational branding. This will generate a full-on PowerPoint presentation. It's adding the titles. It does take a little bit, this. Again, only a couple of minutes. So if you think about the length of time this is going to take compared to the time it will do to do this manually, this is extremely, extremely quick. Building the titles that you see. Added the titles there. So we've got a few, actually. But with the conclusion, the different areas are based on the document. It's completing it, as you can see, going through, creating your presentation. It applies a design, and then you are there. And if I really wanted to do that as a slideshow, you've got all that information that you've got in seconds. Now, again, this is just showing the possibilities that you have around Copilot in Office across Excel, Word, PowerPoint. So if you think about it, if you've got your annual statements, sustainability, if you've got any pieces of information in a Word doc, that you want to add into an overall presentation throughout your finance functions. I always say, not necessarily the ERP function that you use in Excel for. In some cases, most people on this call, the majority are finance people. You are the people who are probably pulling together information from different places in different formats and pulling that into a monthly report. If you can standardize that, Copilot can really be assisting you in bringing together a presentation, proposals, a lot of slides here. So you could say condense that into 10 slides or anything like that, and it will bring it through. But as you can see, that's generated a 33-page PowerPoint presentation from me doing in Excel. If I wasn't having issues with regards to Excel Copilot license, which is a bit strange because it's worked elsewhere, that will bring in that postcode, save it, put it into a Word doc, put it into this, all in 10-15 minutes. And just to end on this, if you really wanted to draft an email, I could say, create an email to introduce a PowerPoint presentation on supporter engagement in Manchester. It will write the email for you. It is a bit impersonal, but it will write the email for you. Says what it engages, all that. Now, if you really want to have some fun with it, you can send it like a poem. I find that really good. It saves me being sarcastic on email responses to other people. I can just use Copilot and tell them they're being stupid in a poem. But as you can see there, it does put it into a poem for you. That's gimmicky, I have to show that, but it's just what it can do. It's very, very clever, really, with regards to that process. And just to finally finish off, one question that we get is, it's all right, Copilot, but does it work for on mobile and tablet devices, or is it always just on your sort of web application? Do you have to be in the system? And the answer to that is no. So if I just share my screen, this is actually, just to prove it is, that's my mobile phone being shared right now. Copilot is on Teams on your mobile phone, on Outlook on your mobile phone. So you can use it for catch up on meetings, you can use it for anything. But if I wanted to plan ahead what was doing today, I can just click the plan ahead button. It will help me prepare for my day. It's a bit late, we're near enough halfway through it. It'll search for the meetings today, and it will generate what I'm doing, webinar prep for this, the webinar today, who the organizer was, bit of focus time, and then I'm going to be traveling to a customer who may be on this call, so I won't name them, this afternoon, and then we've got meetings. So it does work on absolutely anything that you have Copilot on, mobile, tablet, efficient as possible all the way through the process. There's so much more I can show, but I hope that's given a really good overview. So just in summary, before I just hand back to Steve for the final bits with regards to this, Copilot and AI are here to stay. Out of all the Microsoft presentations we go on, whether it's Office, whether it's CRM, Business Central, there's a big event in November in Poland. I suspect 75-80% of the sessions will be on Copilot and AI and what's coming in the future and things we can do. It is here to stay. It's very new in its life cycle though, so as you can see, there's a lot of new things being added. Purchase agents, the sales order agent, like I say, came in the newest release. There's some brilliant things that I've seen on the sort of roadmap that are going to come out. We can have late payment processing, that's standard already. Late payment prediction, from your customers, which is standard already. It does do late payment predictions on you as a supplier to your suppliers as well, which might not be a great thing for the commercial organizations here, but it's very new, so it's only going to get better. I have to stress it's there to assist, it's not replacing. please don't think you're going to be able to get rid of half of your staff by putting Copilot in. That's not the case. And it will learn to do things wrong. Stress it. Business Central Copilot included in the subscription price per user. Microsoft Office Copilot in Excel, Word, PowerPoint does have additional licensing costs. Please speak to your sales representative, your account manager, if you want to know more. And if it's used correctly with the relevant training around prompts and commands, it will make you, your processes, and the wider organization more efficient. And just before I hand back to Steve, I can't stress enough, part of my role is to make sure anything that you see on the finance side of things as finance people, whether it's Copilot or just standard Business Central, please do speak to us. It's my role to make sure you guys are as happy as possible, either existing customers or prospects. So, please don't get left behind in Copilot. It's moving at such a pace. It is the time to embrace and learn now. And with that, thank you. And I will just hand back to Steve for the final elements of the presentation.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I thought it was really good. There's things on there that I've not even seen, so that was really good to go through the whole capabilities of where it's really evolved, like you say, from that marketing first text that came in Business Central all the way through to those different capabilities. And we know there's even more on the roadmap, and
absolutely.
we'll absolutely share that as soon as we can. But first thing where we do start to share things, we have got a whole range of events. We've got a customer event. So please save the date, Wednesday 19th of November. We haven't finalised the actual venue, but the location will be in London, and all people, everyone basically from customers to prospects, will be welcome. We'll be covering all the latest, not only from the Business Central point of view, but all the Microsoft stack. So everything you've seen today from Business Central, the Copilot capabilities, but also the CRM sort of based donor management, member management, from lead opportunity management, go through that whole stage. But really happy to really hear your feedback about previous events or things that are really keen to you, and make sure that we can actually shape the agenda to your needs. So please do get in touch about what would be of interest to yourselves to make sure that we can make it as relevant as possible. So please save that date. There is another webinar we've got coming up, which is on reporting for Business Central. So the QR code there, you can register for that event, which is on the 7th of August. We've got a whole range of different webinars being planned, so please see our website to see all the future ones that are coming through. Like I say, please reach out to ourselves, to your account manager, or just to the generic Mhance account, and we'll help out as much as we can to make sure we get the most out of your applications. Thanks again, Daniel, for the presentation, and thanks for everyone for joining.
Take care all.
Cheers now.